My never say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, or see them yopo.
Randy, this matter, I was going to go ballistic this morning, but I'm privileged to have received some information, so it's calmed me down. I'm comforted to hear that my friend Attorney General is taking very serious view of the matter and has initiated some steps. In fact, he has instructed that the police conduct very quick investigations with the matter and prepare some preliminary dockets by Friday for prosecution.
Okay, so you are a lawyer?
Yes.
And I can appreciate the criminal prosecution angle and the fact that you're happy about that.
But I'll touch on the other matters. Yes, I'll touch on the other matters. So this matter has moved away from the realm of administrative disciplinary measures to one of pure criminal conduct.
Is that how we ought to look at it? I'm not discounting that. Yes.
That is not how we have to look at it. But when the conduct is criminal, whether engaging by a juvenile or an adult, it's a crime. Man. So the laws will have to be applied.
Right.
The administrative steps that the ministry, GES, want to take does not detract from the state proceeding against any person who has committed a crime. And I know you know that. So to that extent, I want the system to work. But let me say that, look, Randy, corporal punishment, it's a feature of our boarding system. Indeed, UNICEF conducted a research and the report came out sometime July 2018, just recently, and referenced a 2010 report, again by UNICEF. It says that 7 out of 10 children in sub-Saharan Africa, of school-going children, they suffer some form of corporal punishment, either in schools, in homes, in detention centers, and all. So it's a matter that we have to look at holistically. But I'm saying, even when I was in school in the mid-90s, I was in the boarding house, we went through some form of corporal punishment, but not to this barbaric level. Yes, that I must admit. As a junior, and I was a very stubborn junior, I suffered some. Sometimes gravel were fetched for you to kneel on them. Sometimes they pour Gary on the floor for you to kneel on them, because a senior would have done something and you would have challenged the person and cited some grounds. I've always loved arguments and asking people the authority upon which they acted. And it did when I also got to a senior year and I became the dining hall prefect.
Which school?
Mali school.
Oh, Mali is a great school.
Yes. Yeah. And I became the medicine, we call it medicine prefect. I got to know the extent of some of these things in the boarding house, to the extent that sometimes food can be taken away from a junior by a senior. It's also a form of corporal punishment.
Your own chop box.
Your own chop box can be ransacked. Sometimes even in your absence, but often in your presence, when you go to the chop box room, or what we call box room. So there are various facets of these practices in our body. But what has shocked the conscience of the country is how barbaric this was. And again, let me say that in law, there's a very famous judicial decision where the court had to go and fall on a poem by a very great poet who said, "They also serve who stand by and look." So he borrowed the line from that poem and fixed the liability onto somebody, a party, in a very serious case in tort. So negligent conduct can always be fixed onto people who stand by onlookers, who will do nothing for harm to be caused to another. So this principle of onlookers that people are saying we should look at has already been dealt with by the courts ages and ages ago that when a crime is being committed or the harm is being occasioned another, and you stand by and do nothing, and the harm is occasioned, when they are fixing liability, liability will be affixed onto you.
Very much so.
So I agree that those onlookers who did nothing and actually took further steps to get one of them who had the phone to video the dastardly act ought to equally be punished. For that is the law. For that is the law. So I just want to, I'm very happy about the AG's step on them. I just want to urge him that he can even detail, in addition to the police, he can get the regional office, that's the AG's office in Cape Coast, to quickly go into the matter, prepare a temporary docket for him so he can take action. This is what people want to see. The speed, the alacrity, and the effectiveness, it will assuage the concerns and fears of everyone. And let parents will be assured of that concrete steps are being taken to bring about normalcy to the school and other schools that may be going through this.
Doc, I very much agree with my good brother, and I would just want to also touch on the bystander syndrome that seems to have crept into society and is creeping into various fibers of society. It's very, very dangerous. In some cases, you even find a person videoing an instance and then it ends up very disastrous, but somebody loses their lives and they still put it out there. Meanwhile, they had the chance to do something to avert the situation or to save the person. So in this case, if this guy had just lost his eye or died in the process, what joy would you have had?
He could have even suffered the fracture of the cheek.
I mean, what joy would you, and even answer, we that's what we won't even get to the bottom of the extent of injury medically sustained beyond the face, the first aid that may have been obtained. But I must also, again, appreciate the leadership shown by the Minister for Education, and then the cooperation we are getting from the Ghana Education Service Director General, and then the IGP and the Attorney General. Honorable Godfred Dame, as soon as the matter came to his attention, immediately had to activate those instructions. And that, to us, as Ministry of Education, we are encouraged to know that we have that inter-institutional, inter-ministerial support that will ensure that one would have thought it was Ministry of Education's matter, let them deal with it. But this particular matter is one that we can say that the Attorney General, the IGP, and all state institutions who have some relevant role to play to support our efforts to instill the culture of discipline in our schools, to remind people that there are repercussions and consequences in the law and society beyond the sanctions and the code of discipline code we have in our schools, to be minded and to stay disciplined. We are very grateful, and we'll continue that cooperation.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.